Chris Davidson, Vice President of HPC and AI Customer Solutions. Good to see you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming by the booth.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a recent deployment with you and wanted to know what ultimately is TELUS's mission?
Yes, so TELUS's mission is to democratize access to AI compute within the Canadian AI ecosystems. We decide to invest in AI infrastructure, building it in Canada for Canadian to enable enterprises, public sectors, research institutes, startups to be able to have access to this compute, to the high performance computes, to the GPUs, in order to be able to build and deploy and innovate and be able to compete in the global economy.
TELUS has recently invested in a sovereign AI factory. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, so we are in the missions to create that ecosystems in Canada, so then the enterprises, institutions, both public and private, they can, with that mind that their innovations, their IP, as well as their data resides in Canada. Our data centers are connected through our own vast amount of the networks using our own pure fabric. So we have the connectivity, we have data centers, and we can ensure that the data resides in Canada and it stays within Canada and close to the compute. Moreover, our data centers are powering by the hydro powers in both provinces that we are operating. So we have access to vast amount of renewable energy.
I like how you differentiate ultimately between what is a sovereign AI factory, but also what is data sovereignty and how the interplay between the two is very important, not only for where the data is co-located, the security of the data, but where the talent is located as well, and how that is networked across the country to drive results. So you've talked about a sovereign AI factory and you've talked about data sovereignty. What does that mean for TELUS?
Okay. So TELUS started our AI journey about 10 years ago with the machine learning. So we have done tremendous amount of the iterations when it comes to the machine learning, when it comes to our own the network data, when it comes to our own kind of the domain around our connectivity. When we introduced generative AI in 2022, TELUS was one of the first companies in Canada, also around the world, that step forward to build responsible use of AI for enterprises. So we have our own kind of the generative AI platform, our Fuel-iX. Building that infrastructure is the next step for us. It is aligned with our strategy, and it's aligned with the goal for our countries. We are basically catalyzing the AI ecosystems for Canada. We are bringing the whole the players, whether they are a model trainer, whether they are for building the agentic applications, any type of the RAG applications in our platform. Our platform is a fully features for the developer. So we not only we develop these infrastructure, we also put the platform on top of that. So the developers can come to our platform that they are looking for the compute, and they can easily have kind of one-click type of deployment. So build and deploy very quickly. So that helps our customers. But for TELUS, we are also the customers for our own infrastructures. So we are also bringing our internal AI workloads to use in our AI factory, in addition to bring it the external ones. I have a couple of the examples. For example, for our health industry. So the health data is always very critical. We are actually helping the organizations, these are the research organizations in the cancer research, and then bringing the Canadian data to train the models that's going to reside in Canada and benefit for the Canadians. Another example would be on the financial services. We are also helping other financial services to train the model based on the credit risk assessments. That all data is also the Canadian data. So that enables us to train these models based on the Canadian data that's going to benefit for the Canadian as well.
You talk about meeting the user where they are. Can you speak to why HPE was the right partner to help you along with that journey?
when we selected HPE, we were looking for a partner who can basically build the most effective the HPC for us. We had this mindset that we want to bring all different type of the workloads. It's not just specific to inferencing. We wanted to bring a variety of the workloads. We wanted a partner who can walk us through the all steps. So HPE help us for design. They help us for selecting the right materials, right networkings, and then they help us to basically deploy it in a very cost-effective and in the time recording as well. So from the time that we announced it, by the time that we actually opened up our first cluster, it was a very short period of time, less than 6 months. So I kudos to your team within the HPE that helped us to go through this process. Although that was our first factory, but they helped us to get it very quickly and with the most effective way.
The TELUS Sovereign AI Cloud scored very high in the top 500. Can you speak about the implications to you and to your Sovereign AI factory?
Yes, actually I'm very pleased to announce that yesterday Top 500, which is the prestigious organizations that looking after all the supercomputing clusters around the world, they announced that TELUS AI Factory, in partnership with HPE, we rank #1 in Canada. So it's a tremendous kudos to HPE engineers, to HPE team, as well as to TELUS team that we achieved that goal. That was the first time that we actually collected those data and we ran the testing. And then, although that was the first time, we ranked #1 in Canada. So overall, globally, we ranked 78, and in Canada, we are the most, the powerful and the fastest AI clusters in Canada. That helped us to basically add that credibility because we are not bringing this whole solutions to the market for the first time. So we are the first mover in this market, but also we are the fastest as well. So we achieve both goals at the same time, and that's thanks to HPE and the partnership that we had with them.
How do you plan to evolve the TELUS AI factory moving forward? What changes will you see in the future?
We believe that we are in the right path, and we are just at the beginning. So the amount of the progress that we want to do in the next 2-3 years is tremendous. There are a couple of the reasons. Number one is that, as we know, AI data centers are power hungry. But in Canada, we have access to the abundant amount of the hydropower available to us. So we have access to power, to renewable power. We have access now to the talent, and we have the right partner. So we are actually going to expedite and exponentially grow our footprint in this field. So we recently announced that we are going to build 25,000 GPUs in the next 3 years. We are in the conversations with the government entities. We are in conversations with hydro providers to acquire the necessary power, as well as to understand where the market goes, and then we can build it for that specific market.
I think Canada is doing a fantastic job leading the charge in regards to sustainable computing and the impact that it has on the environment. It's fantastic to hear you talk about that as well, and that you're keeping an eye on that. I'm hoping that some of our more futuristic innovations will help play a role in that, whether it be regarding workload power management or portfolio profiling management. Saeed, it's very good to have you today. We appreciate you coming by the booth, and we very much appreciate you partnering with us on your Sovereign AI Factory journey.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you. Bye.